podcast. I'm Michelle, and I have a lovely guest from Instagram who has come with a parenting dilemma, and her name is Shweta. And I would love for you to introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Michelle. It's wonderful to be here, firstly.
Great.
I'm a little starstruck because I've been following you for a little while now. And so to introduce myself, my name is Shweta. I have two children. One, my daughter is 9, and she's the one that I have most of the battles with. And my youngest is 3, and I think because of my experiences with my daughter, I've been um, trying to correct them all those mistakes with my son. So I think that for now is going okay.
Great.
But Michelle, I think one thing that I do want to tell the listeners about is I think my background is kind of similar to the story you tell about how you and your older sister, your older daughter, your dynamic was. Um, that's kind of where I was. So
I
maybe
understand.
still am to a certain degree.
Well, and maybe there's a certain temperament, matchup or mismatch up there too. We never know. But I think, is she strong and sensitive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's highly anxious about everything.
Yeah.
It could be a simple schedule change where this is what we were supposed to do, and now this is not going to work out. So
Yeah.
we're doing something a bit differently. Or it could just be she has a trial for the swim team, or it
Mhm.
could be, there's like Science Olympiad. She was applying for that. So she's like, oh, will I get in? Will I get in? And it seems to spiral and spiral. And my dilemma is that I want to make her feel heard and soothe her. So that's what I try to do. But in a lot of the cases, I end up giving her the message that what you're worrying about is insignificant, or it's wrong that you're worrying. And that's really not the message I want to be sending.
So why do you think you go to soothe her?
That's a good question. I want her to be at peace.
Yeah.
I feel that her mind is constantly working, and probably rests with me, this responsibility, because the first 4 or 5 years of her life were so up and down because of my relationship with her and my interactions with her. So I feel that she has this tendency to want to be perfect, or things to be perfect. And if she's not able to control every outcome, then she feels like, she's like trying to hold on, and you know, I sometimes feel like she's a 40-year-old,
She's scared to make a mistake.
and she's only 9, and I don't want that for her.
Yeah.
So
It sounds like she's scared to make a mistake, or she's scared to do it wrong, or she's scared not to meet her expectations. She's does sound like maybe a bit of a
all of those.
perfectionist. Yeah. Okay. And
Yes.
do you see those qualities in yourself?
I am a little bit of a perfectionist. Um, I think, maybe in some things. That's an interesting question. I've never thought about it that way. Maybe.
Do
In
you
some
beat
things,
do you
yes.
beat yourself up when you make mistakes?
Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
you're hard on yourself.
I am. I
You have
am.
high expectations of yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think those first 5 years, maybe that was more of where you were at as a mom? Trying to be perfect, trying to do it all right?
Yeah. A lot of things came up for me. Maybe she reminded me a little bit too much about myself, or uh, I just I just needed her to be this way, and if she wasn't this way, then when she gets older, what's going to happen? And then,
Right.
kind of forecasting into the future and
Yeah.
all of that. So a lot of the time, I found myself in the spiral, not being able to stop shouting, or
Yeah.
her feel that shame or whatever it was. And and afterward, yes, I knew I was doing this and I couldn't stop myself.
Yeah.
And then the apologies.
Yeah.
But it's like, honey, I'm working on getting better, but then next week we're at the same place. So
So,
we had a lot of that.
did you see yourself in your first few years of parenting as more rigid?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
extremely rigid.
So do we I mean, it kinda sounds like she's adopted that rigidity somewhat.
I would say so.
Yeah. So how long have
Yeah.
you been trying to do things differently?
Probably since she was about 5, I would say more seriously. Um, and I first started listening to podcasts and reading different books from when she was about 3, and, um, and probably because of my mental state, my mental health, I wasn't able to do as much as I wanted to do, and, then I got some, did some talk therapy and all of that, and, felt that I was making some progress. And obviously, um, I read that in those first 5 years is when the major development of the brain and everything happens, and what they keep hearing and how their caregiver, me in this case, is responding to them is how they start talking to themselves. And so I feel that that's what's happened.
Yeah.
So, mm,
But
yes.
you can change, and it sounds like you already are and are making huge changes and lots of big growth, and so it's gonna take her a minute. It's gonna take her a while.
One of my biggest um, questions to you, I don't know, it's obviously a big dynamic shift that has to happen, and all of that, what she's gone through, has to come out,
Yeah.
and then she'll be better. She can make uh, better decisions, better choices. Until then, how do I validate what she's going through
Yeah.
when it's something small, so that it doesn't become such a mountain for her the next time
Yeah.
she's going through something like that, without making her feel like there's something wrong with you because you're worried about this.
Yeah. Give me let's start with an example. Maybe you can remember a time where she was really worried about something and it didn't quite go the way you wanted it to. Do you have an example?
Yeah, even something simple like going to sleep.
Okay.
She's always switched on. She always has been since she was a baby, and so at night for her to wind down and go to bed has, never been easy. Takes her time. But
Mhm.
now, probably in the last year or so, she's more anxious about the fact that she can't get to bed or
Mhm.
can't get to sleep. And so then that keeps her up.
Mhm.
So just the other day, she was saying to me, "Oh, yesterday I couldn't get to bed. It took me a long time. Do you think today I'll be able to go to sleep?" And I had my 3-year-old who was having a tantrum because he was overtired. And then I tried talking to her for a few minutes about it, and then I said, "Honey, you just have to breathe and focus on your body and think calming thoughts and just allow your body to do what it has to do." But the tone and the body language is like, I'm in a rush, I have to leave, and you're delaying me. And I could see it on her face that she was still anxious and worried, and I probably made it worse.
So
So
what made you go to that place? What was it about you were telling her to be calm, but
yes,
you
well, I was
couldn't be
not.
calm?
No. Yeah.
So, I guess we have to figure out where is that coming from for you, right? Where is that anxiousness coming from for you? When you see her and hear her saying, "I can't go to sleep, it's so hard. Do you think I'm gonna be able to?" What's coming up for you internally?
This is never gonna end. It's never gonna get better. Uh, y I it just for me, it's almost like, I've I've done this thing, I'm responsible for where we are right now. I can't fix it, and it
Ah,
looks like it's not gonna ever get any better, and I've been trying
aha.
so hard,
I think that's
and,
it. You think you have to fix it.
Yeah, yes, I do. I
You
do. I don't have to fix it.
no. No, Shweta, you don't have to fix it. It's not your it's not responsibility, honey, to fix it. You cannot make her better. Not for these little moments, not for big moments, not for any moments. It's not your responsibility to fix your child's feelings.
Mm, okay.
She can be not okay. She can not fall asleep. She can be worried about falling asleep. She can be worried about almost anything. And it's actually okay for her to be those ways.
And
You're seeing it as a
so,
problem. And so you're trying to find a way to fix the problem, but there is no problem. She's just having feelings.
mm,
So every time you try to deny her the feelings or tell her ways she can fix it that aren't going to work anyway, then it
mm,
exacerbates the feelings. It makes them bigger and stronger and louder. It's called amplification. So amplification works like this. If I tell you, my knee hurts. It hurts so bad. And you say, no, 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 you're fine. And I say, no, 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 Shweta, my knee, it's hurting. Don't you understand? And you're like, you're going to be okay. You just have to put a compress on it. You're going to be all right. I'm like, but don't you understand? My knee's hurting. And I get bigger and stronger and louder. And because that's
mm,
her personality, her feelings are being amplified and amplified and amplified.
mm.
And it's making it all bigger than it actually is.
She's not feeling heard, so she gets louder.
And you're feeling like you need to fix it, and the louder she gets, the more you have to fix it, and the more you're failing as a mom, and the more you go into your perfectionism, and the more you're blaming yourself.
Yeah,
But you don't need to. It's not your fault.
it's not. So
No.
my
No, sweetheart, it's not your fault. Yeah, you may have made some mistakes in
oh,
parenting. Who doesn't? We all do, but she has a certain personality. And so her personality is
yes.
gonna be that personality no matter what. She's a bit anxious. She's a bit worried. That's her personality.
Mm,
But it's not something you can fix.
okay. And so how do I respond?
So how would you respond? Now thinking at it through this lens, in that situation where she came to you about bed, what do you think is the right response?
Well, what I do with my son, because of all the reading and podcasts, is I just echo what he says back to him. Uh, he has a tough time saying bye when we drop him off at school, and so I'll just say, "Oh, you're really gonna miss me. You're so upset." And that's what I say to him. So maybe for my daughter, I could maybe just say that you're really anxious about falling asleep. You're worried that you won't be able to. It'll
That must
take you a
be
really long
so
time.
hard. I'm sorry you're struggling with that must be so hard, honey.
Yeah.
You're instead of you need to witness her feelings, bear witness to her feelings,
Witness.
right? And when you bear witness, just like you said, you just kind of mirror back her experience to her
Mm,
instead of trying to give her tools and clues and things she should do to make it stop.
mm. Okay, I have a follow-up question
Yes, ma'am.
here, and this could be because I don't do this enough, that it doesn't, uh, not calm her, but make her feel heard. And that is sometimes when I reflect back what she's feeling, and that must be so hard, etc. She'll say, "So what do I do about it?
They're great. It's great because
What can I do?
well, why do we
Tell me
think
what to do."
right? Why do
Like
we
she gets
think she's
frustrated.
saying that? Why do we think she's saying that?
Well, that's how it's always been. I always give her strategies, so she's
That's right.
looking for them.
Right, so we gotta deprogram her, right?
Is
S
so you're saying it's gonna take some time?
Well, that's for sure, it's gonna
Yes.
take some time, but I would say to her, "Well, what do you think we should do, honey? What do you think you should do?" "I don't know, you have to tell me, you have to give me the answers." Now, there's this common idea out in the
Mhm.
world of connective parenting that when we apply empathy and understanding and we bear witness to feelings, that somehow miraculously our kid's going to feel better and all the feelings are going to go away. And that's how it's supposed to work. But that's not true. When we bear
Mm.
witness, often, especially with this kind of temperament, it makes it bigger and louder temporarily
Yes.
and makes a tantrum, and that's what we want. We actually want to push her into tantrums so that she can offload the feelings that she has, and maybe because you're offering so many fixes, she never gets to the
It's
tantrum.
still inside. Yes.
So I would those when she starts asking you, "What should I do?" You should clue in, "Aha,
Mm.
here we go. We could get her to have a big tantrum here, and this could help her offload her feelings and feel better.
Yeah.
What do you think we should do?" "Well, I don't know, you tell me." "Well, I don't know, honey. I think it's you can figure this out. This is your life. I know you can do it." And it might make her really
Mhm.
upset, only temporarily. But what you're going through now is that she's bubbling at every single interaction. Every single thing in her life is hard and stressful, and she's anxious because she's never gotten it all out.
Yeah.
She needs
That
a
makes
bunch
some sense.
she needs a bunch of tantrums probably.
Yes. And that means I need to allow for that extra cushion of time where my toddler's not around. Dad, please take care of him and just
Yeah,
allow for that extra, let's bedtime as an example, be okay with. And I'm anxious about this because I know if she's doesn't sleep enough one night, then the next day is tough.
a mess.
So, but I should be okay with just letting her take her time, uh, and we go through this and let her get it all out and then go to bed.
As much as you possibly can, and if your toddler has to be witnessing some of it, it's okay too. We tell him, "We're gonna listen
Mm,
to sister's feelings. She needs us to listen to her. She's having a hard time. In our house, we listen to feelings." And now we're telling him how safe you are, and you're showing him how
yes.
safe you are so that when he wants to have his feelings, he knows that you'll be
Mm,
there for him. So it doesn't have to be the perfect scenario where dad has to take the baby and you have
mm,
to be with her and you have to have this certain amount of time, but you're right, you have to plan, like, if you know there's gonna
yeah.
be pushback, you need to start early in doing things. You need to allow for some
Yes.
tantrums for a while, you'll have to build it into your whole schedule, really, in order for her to feel a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah. I can do this.
You can do this.
I can do
You
this.
very much can do this. I think you're holding yourself too responsible for her feelings. They are not your fault.
Yeah. I guess I'll have to do some work on that because I very much have a lot of guilt over those years, the beginning years. So,
But that guilt, I think, is keeping you from parenting where you probably want to be parenting.
absolutely.
Yeah. The guilt is not doing
Absolutely.
you any good, like guilt ever does, but and maybe if we think about it in those terms, it'll be easier for you to let go of that guilt for yourself because letting go of that will make you be the parent that you wanna be because 'cause you'll be able to clear your head and and see her more clearly.
Yes. It's about her, and the guilt is all about me.
Yes, and they're getting kind of intermingled here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a hard fix, really, Shweta. It's not a hard fix.
No, no. It's just, like you said, uh, not taking responsibility for her feelings and wanting to fix them will probably change the entire dynamic.
Yes. You know what to say. you know what to do. You understand where you want to be. It's not that I need to give you a script or a trick or a whatever. It's just changing your mentality will help you apply the things you already know.
Yeah.
You're doing
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
You're doing great. You're doing amazing.
Oh,
You already have made
thank you.
huge changes, it feels like. And so this is just another little change.
But a major one.
Yes.
So major, so small, but in the grand scheme of things. And you know what's interesting is that sometime maybe about a year or two ago, she used to, especially when her brother was younger and he was more time intensive and she'd get a little less time for me. She used to have a lot of tantrums
Mhm.
for small things. And I used to tell my husband, honey, don't shut it down. You know, we need to let her get it out and all of that. But now that it seems like she's older and more mature and she doesn't do the whole tantrum thing anymore, it's
Mm.
almost like in my head, she it's like I've I'm thinking of her as being past that phase, which is not true.
Totally. And I think as they get older, I mean, you said it yourself, like you hold space so beautifully for your 3-year-old. But we give the 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds and even 5-year-olds more grace and more space for feelings and more, leeway, I guess, than we do the 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or 12-year-old because we think, like you said, they're out of this phase. They should know better. They're not gonna worry about going to bed. They know they're gonna go to bed. They've been going to bed for 9 years. Why are they worried about going to bed? And so we put this kind of more adult lens in our parenting, which isn't too fair because they're still little.
They are. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Even at
Yeah.
18, my 18-year-old, they say the prefrontal brain isn't fully developed until they're 28. She has 10 more years of
Yeah.
development, and I've already gone through 18 years of immaturity. Now I've got
Wow.
10 more. That's 28 years of that we have to be patient with them.
Yes. Yeah, and if we can do that, then what a next set of parents there will be.
Right? And the beautiful
Yeah.
relationship we'll have with them when they are actually fully developed at 30.
Yes. One of my favorite things is, you know, your posts with you and your kids and just how you guys have fun together and all of that. And I think I mean, who doesn't want that
Yep.
with their kids?
It's a beautiful thing. I didn't have it with my family, and I'm so grateful I have it with them, and you're gonna have it with your kids too.
I feel that I am very, very, it's like mom's the one who is, this is right and this is wrong. And, you know, now's not the time for fun. You know, fun is later. That it's that kind of a scenario. Whereas dad is the one who kind of takes things easy, and you know, nothing's ever so serious. So I need to lighten up and
Yeah.
kind of just
Maybe
work on myself, do some relaxing things, maybe
yeah, or
more.
maybe, play with them like a big, boisterous, fun wrestling, chasing, whatever kind of
Yes.
play with them once a day and show them how
Yeah.
fun you are.
Mm. And I think what you said about not having to fix things will probably help me relax more because
Yes.
I feel that I always have to be in control of this situation and this scenario, and we've got to get here and do that. And, you know, I feel like I have to equip her with the right things for her future so that she can thrive rather than be, you know, an emotional mess.
Yeah.
But that thought of needing to fix it is stopping me from actually getting her to a point where she can be thriving.
Yes. And you can be thriving because 'cause you're
Yeah.
pressuring yourself way too much. And I think that's the difference between parenting with control and parenting with connection.
Mm,
One of the main differences is
mm,
that people don't often understand is that when we let go of control, like the kind of control we're talking about, like trying to control her and her feelings and her outcomes, trying to control, whatever happens to her, however she turns out, like trying to really control all those things really keeps us from connecting. And when we just focus
Yes.
on connecting, then everything else kind of falls into place because they're watching us be good people. They're watching us do righteous things.
Mm,
And so, therefore, we don't have to worry about making sure they're equipped with everything because we're displaying it and demonstrating it. And so they glean it from us the whole time they're in our homes.
mm. And if they ever come to a place where they are having that kind of trouble, there's enough connection for them to just come back and ask
That's right.
and lean on us. Yeah.
Yeah. You're getting there, Shweta. A lot of good little light bulbs for you. So, this is just going to be a little bit of a practice here.
Yes.
Yeah.
A big light bulb, I think, today.
Yeah,
Yes.
good. We like that. That's fun. Well, I'm so glad you came. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us and your question, and I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much for listening to them and, helping me kind of work it through. Um, what you do is so, so valuable
Thank
to all of
you.
us parents out there. So please keep doing it.
I appreciate it. Okay, we'll see you next time on the Peace and Parenting
Thank you.
podcast.